Welcome to the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast with your hosts, Jack and Michelle Bosch. Together, let's uncover the secrets to building true wealth through real estate and living a purpose-driven life.
Welcome to the Forever Cash Podcast. I'm your host for today, Michelle Bosch. I am co-creator of the Land Profit Generator Method and super excited to come to you guys today and talk to you about scaling your land flipping business through a team. Why is scaling through a team so important? Yes, scaling from the point of view of increasing your volume, increasing your offers, increasing your deals coming in, increasing, the margins in your properties that you're taking down. Those are good areas to scale. But something that is going to be incredibly beneficial for you to start thinking about when it comes to scaling is about thinking about bringing a team on board that is going to help you to take care of the not so critical activities, but also eventually take care of the critical activities that are going to allow your business to also enjoy the freedom of money, time, relationships, and purpose. Because just like we as entrepreneurs and CEOs of our land business, real estate business, or whatever business you're in, want to enjoy these for freedoms, if our business depends on us in order for us to basically generate deal flow, in order for us to have a constant outgoing stream of offers going out, if it depends on us in order for us to make sure that listings are happening, to make sure that sales are happening and actually closing on the deals, what's going to happen is that you will have bought yourself another job. And you will not, and that business is not going to enjoy, all those freedoms because it depends entirely on you. So scaling, what I'm talking about scaling today is scaling through team, scaling through bringing people on board that share your core values, that are all in on what you're doing. And maybe at the beginning, when I'm talking about team, for you listening to this right now may translate into bringing an independent contractor, a VA that helps you either part-time or even 40 hours a week, but are still independent contractors. And there's nothing wrong with that while you're building your business and while you're going on this journey for mastery. But eventually you're going to have, you're going to want to pivot into thinking about team from the point of view of having a team that is where you are all in on them and they are all in on you. And I think you're going to see the biggest ROI because you're going to have right now a person, when it's a person that is all in and that eventually becomes part of your team and is not just an independent contractor, but basically an employee, is that you're going to see that their return on involvement is going to be way superior than if you just brought in someone that is doing, 5 or 10 hours for you here and 5 or 10 hours from somebody else, for someone else over there. And that is basically not fully 100% committed to what you're trying to do in your business. So if you're already at this point, in your land flipping business where you're looking to bring in someone that is going to help you, take care of the acquisitions, that is going to help you take care of the sales, I think this is a podcast that an episode that you're definitely going to enjoy because I'm going to share a little bit of the strategies that we have been using, now for the last almost 18 years in scaling several of our businesses. And the very first thing that I'm going to say is you got to get clear on number one, what are some of the activities or what are some of the roles that you want to come and, hire and have somebody come into your business to take over so that, that particular area of the business has a head to the horse and can be on autopilot, if you want to say it that way, from the perspective of your involvement being minimal. Yeah. And so you're gonna want to think about, core values as well. You're going to want to think about, what do I stand for? What do I need the person that I am bringing on board to stand for as far as how they work, how they operate? If you have a huge, value of excellence, you are not going to bring on board, people, whether they be contractor or a full-time employee that is not willing to operate and stretch themselves to always be giving the best of themselves and that takes pride in the work that they're doing, because that would be a person that does not exhibit that value of excellence, for example, So that's the first thing. So first thing is think about what are the roles that you're going to want to, to bring in and hire out as far as, your land flipping business goals are. You want to think about, what my values are so that I can attract and I can magnetize the right type of person to come into my business. And then the next thing that you want to start thinking about is like, okay, if this is a role that, that is going to require sometimes, that I, kiss many frogs in order to find my prince, one incredibly useful technique for scalability very, very quickly that collapses time for us, whether you are basically bringing on contractors or bringing on a full-time, staff member into your business, is to hire 2 to 3 people at a time. That's why I'm saying this is not for a beginner. This is for somebody whose land flipping is already producing enough cash such that that cash can now translate into you reinvesting in your business and basically reinvesting in your freedom, so that you can pay for these resources, for these people to come on board. And so we like hiring, especially if it comes to sales. I know I met a few days ago, we met with some of our star students, rock stars. I mean, they are definitely on a trajectory to get to 7 figures in, probably 12 to 14 months, in record speed compared to, even ourselves. It took us 18 months. And prior to those 18 months, a couple of years of trial and error because we were trying to piece everything together. And the point where they're at right now is outsourcing sales, and sales is a position where if you are hiring, someone that doesn't have experience in sales, it's going to require you that you basically go out there and bring in my opinion, 2 to 3 people at a time that you onboard at the same time and that you train at the same time, that will basically fight for a spot with their attitude, with their work ethic, and with their results, to be on the rocket ship with you, to be on this incredible business that you guys are building right now and come on that journey of growth with you. And what's going to happen invariably is that if you give, 2 or 3 people the exact same resources, that one of them, or maybe 2 of them might not have the mindset that it takes to basically do the reps to become great at what they're doing. So that's for someone that, doesn't have experience in sales. If you're bringing someone that has experience in sales, I would say, okay, make sure that this is a person that, that doesn't just talk, but actually walks the talk, and that can show you results in actual properties being sold quickly, every week, that is not giving you the runaround as far as like, the people that are calling, they're all tire kickers. That this is a person that knows how to go out there and even help you if needed, generate the leads that are going to translate into actually closing on your deals, and buyers that are wanting to, close on the deals, and that are want to be serious about buying the piece of land that you have. So that would be one thing. So the next thing that I think about, okay, if I bring several, at the time, I need to have prepared for onboarding, whether it be 2 VAs, 3 VAs at a time, I need to have prepared as far as, what am I going to do with them? How does that welcome introduction into this, baby business, if it's a baby business, if it's a more advanced business that you're starting, or that you're looking to scale, how am I going to bring this person on board so that they feel part of a team, part of a family, part of really an opportunity for career growth, for personal development, that is going to appreciate basically aligning with a CEO such as yourself, that is going out there, that is serving buyers, that is serving sellers, that is impacting families, that is impacting, their own families, those new team members' families as well, in how they conduct business. So you want to think about that as well. The next thing that you want to start thinking about is, okay, I now have 3 people. I have an onboarding process for them. How will my next 6 to 8 weeks of training look like? Do I have a plan of how I will properly outsource this to them so that they can feel confident individuals in what they're doing? And I want to say that I think one of the biggest hurdles or obstacles that any entrepreneur does when they bring team, whether it be contractors, part-time or a full-time person, is that they like to delegate those activities that they do not like, and they like delegating by just kind of like dumping the task. Okay, you're on board, let's go, here's what you need to do. And there's no real clear direction as far as really helping that person understand or explaining to this new person the purpose of the project that they're going to be working with, or the task that they're going to be working with. Why is it important? Not explaining to them why is it important. Basically, how does it fit in the whole context of your operation, of your business, the impact that they're going to bring? How does it fit as far as what impact are they going to make to the bottom line, to actual dollars coming in? What impact are they going to do to a specific process or to the client experience, whether it's on the buying side or on the selling side? You want to basically have these discussions and these conversations as you're delegating a task or a project or a role to somebody that is completely new, that has absolutely no idea about what you do. You definitely not just want to teach them on the steps and the methodology, but really back up a little bit and take the time to explain to them basically the purpose of the project or of the role, and how does it impact and why is it important. The next thing that is also super, super important in delegation, I think, is also showing someone, okay, if what I need you to do is a listing, that is actually going to get us leads that are actually going to turn into sales of our pieces of land, I need that, that end result to look like this. And you kind of have like a list of criteria of what success looks like for that person, so that that person can have something visual to model. Yeah. And as you're doing this, guys, the beautiful thing is that now we have access to so much technology, like Loom or screenshots or recording yourself, on Zoom as you're doing a training, that you can basically use this technology to create this training once, and that whoever else that you bring to fill in that position or to help with that position, that training is going to be there available, so that in the future you can use it, so that that person can watch. It doesn't mean that you are completely abdicating, that onboarding and bringing that person personally on board and discussing some of, the projects and tasks that they're going to do. But if that person needs to go and hear it again, that you have a resource right now that you've pre-recorded, that you have basically where you've laid out a process, where you've laid out the steps or the tasks that they need to do, and that they can come back to again and again and again, almost like creating a library of resources for your own team of things that need to be done and how they need to be done and how the ideal result looks like, in order to really have a sense of having had success in that one task that you've delegated, or that one project, or that one role that you've delegated. So that's going to be important for sure. And then the last component of delegation is really, especially when you bring someone new on board, is really helping them understand, what has to be done and by when. If it's a project that is a big project, that it's basically, okay, I need you to go and not just, find a list of properties, but also make sure that you get that list scrub, that, that you set up the mailing campaign for me, and that, X and X and X and X, if it's anything that has to do with acquisition, that you basically break that into small chunks and milestones, and to remember that if this person is doing this for the very first time, that you're going to want to have basically kind of like a rhythm for supervising that person and checking in with this person, so that they don't go basically in the completely wrong trajectory. If you just leave them alone to their own devices, for weeks at a time or for days at a time, that there's a mechanism, that they know what the mechanism is of reaching out to you. And when, you have maybe a standard, daily huddle that you do where you check in, especially as you onboard and bring in a new person and say, okay, where are we at in the project or in the task that I delegated yesterday, And what have you done, and how does it look? Have we been able to meet, the expectations of, the success criteria that I gave you yesterday? And if they have not, it's going to give you an opportunity. It's going to give you an amazing coaching opportunity to say, okay, great, you've done great. And if any adjustment is needed, this is the pivot that I would do. Or for you to say, no, this is not exactly, what I'm looking for. I would love for you to do this instead, and basically mirror for them or show them in visual terms, maybe how a listing needs to prepare, or what are some of the few things, that they forgot to include in the listing that they prepared for you. So that basically that person gets feedback, constructive criticism on how they're doing. And they don't go and do 20 listings that do not look like they should be looking. If you're able to basically catch that in the very first listing that they're preparing for you, you're able to adjust and basically, give them direction at these different milestones or mileposts, and so that they can continue working on future listings in the right way from the beginning, from the get-go. So this is this is for us that that are quick starts, or that are type A's and into many different things, and distracted with and spread thing along the way, as far as obligations and things that need to happen in your business. It's so important to not fall into the trap of thinking that you don't have the time to spend with a new person that is coming here to free you up because you have a gazillion things to do. That this is going to be that this return on involvement of you being involved with somebody that comes into your business in the beginning is going to pay, in spades, and you're going to have an incredible return as a result of you basically checking in with this person. The next time they prepare a listing, or they do something else, if they have proven themselves, to be able to, think critically, improve the process or model the process at the beginning and then eventually improve it, that you will have developed a little bit of more trust with that person, so that if you give them something new, maybe it's not a check-in in 2 hours or the next day, that maybe it's a check-in in a couple of days where we add with this project, and that person knows in advance that you will be checking in, so they don't feel like you're micromanaging. You're basically just upfront establishing rules of how they're going to work, and how you're going to supervise their work, and how you're basically going to together jointly come to achieve the goal that you're looking for that person. And I want to say, one last thing that I know, when you start as a business owner, you are thinking, oh my God, who am I, to be thinking in this way, and to demand, an all in kind of mindset. And what I'm going to say is that the land flipping business that you're building right now, and that you're perhaps either on your way to scaling because you're already doing maybe 3 or 4 deals, or maybe you're doing 1 deal a month and you're wanting to scale that to 6, 7, 8 deals a month and so on, or 10 deals a month. Some of you are already there, that you are basically here, that you need to remember that you are offering an amazing opportunity to somebody, and that person is having the privilege and honor to align themselves with a CEO that is working, in utmost integrity and operating in excellence, and being of service to buyers and being of service to sellers, and of bringing incredible value in a marketplace that is otherwise very illiquid. That you're really, helping someone with the burden of property ownership, that you're really making someone's dream come true, on the side of, buyers when they're buying properties for you, whether it be a builder, whether it be a financial investor, whether it be a family that just wants, to have a few acres out of town to go and, spend wonderful, a fun weekend with their family in a recreational area, that you're bringing an incredible service. and that there's very few people out there, business owners that are operating at this level and in these standards, and that you need to know that you are a freaking big deal, and that this little land flipping business, even though your family might be still laughing or not understanding what in the world you're doing, that this little land flipping business matters, that you matter, that you are important, that this is something significant to be able for anyone out there, whether it be a contractor or a full-time employee, to align with someone like you that is not transactional, that is transformational, that is doing amazing things in the marketplace, and that this person always needs to feel, like it is a privilege and honor to work with you and to align yourself with you. And I want you guys not to forget that as you are bringing and onboarding people, and not bringing people out of despair, out of proximity, or out of like immediate need and urgency to delegate, to make sure that you're careful in curating the people that you bring on board, and that they basically see this opportunity and this career growth, because that's what you're offering to someone when they come and they're all in with you. You're offering them an opportunity of, developing a career, of really using the velocity of the growth of your business to meet their own personal financial goals. Yeah, because the business and with their help is gonna spit out the cash and the cash flow for them to continue growing, in your business. Yeah. So I want you to remember, when we start, as business owners, I don't think we have this assertiveness, this confidence, and this posture to recognize, and in the certainty to recognize that what you're bringing to the marketplace is incredibly unique, and it is incredibly valuable, and that as such, you need to step into that power and make sure that you are attracting the right people from this place of them recognizing that as well. So with that, I wanted to say, if this episode was of interest to you, we are talking about scaling. We are talking about team building. We have a 5-day Land Profit Masterclass starting right now on May 10th. We are already in Q2 of 2021. So if you haven't woken up, it's time to basically wake up. We're halfway through the year. If you had goals at the beginning that, you started to scratch off because they seem so unsurmountable, then now is the time to recommit. And we would love to have you there. You can always register at landprofitmaster.com, landprofitmaster.com. We start at 9 a.m. Pacific. Make sure that you're inside the correct Facebook group. This is being hosted inside of our Land Profit Masterclass group. And if you go to Land Profit Master, you're going to sign up, and right on the confirmation page is going to say, wait, you're not done. And you're going to click on that and basically be added and go join the Facebook group where it's going to be hosted. That's where everything's going to be taking place. We're even adding a fun challenge, the week prior. We have pre-bonus sessions. We're going to be having implementation sessions during the course of the master class, where we're basically not just teaching you the fundamentals, but we're also discussing how to scale your business so that it becomes a self-managing, business. And we talk team. We talk some of the things that I'm discussing in today's podcast, and how to basically really, create a business, like I said earlier, that works whether you're there or you're not, on both the acquisitions, on both the disposition or sales side, or anything that has to do with, coordinating transactions and paperwork, that eventually you're going to want to have, team members that are taking care of these two things, so that you can experience the freedom, but your business also can experience the freedom, and that you now have the opportunity to have others also experience, the freedom of meeting their personal goals while making an impact, and while, being of service in this incredible industry, which is called real estate. And within that, in this amazing niche that is called land flipping. With that, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I am looking forward to another episode with you guys, either next week or the week after. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Enjoyed this episode? Then make sure you like, subscribe, and post your comments and questions below the video. We're looking forward to hearing from you.